Hello everyone, my name is Sibusiso, but you can also call me Coach Sbu. Welcome to the Maths by this channel. Today's video, I'm going to be doing another question on finance, but in this one, I'm going to be sharing with you a method as to what to do if you open an account, right? Then you open an account with a deposit, but then now you start committing with putting in monthly deposits of an amount that is different from the one that you initially deposited. What this means? What this means is that if you say you deposit 3,000, but then now a month later you decide to put in 300 every month, we're going to be calculating how much can you have in the in future if you keep doing that for a certain amount of time. So that's what we'll be working with. And another thing will be when you have a loan but then you miss some few payments, right? What is it that happens and how do we basically calculate those type of questions? All right, so now this means be sure that you stay in the video up until the very end. Take as much note as you can because this is going to be really helpful for you, and I'm going to be generalizing this, right? I won't be answering this question per se, but I'll be giving you a view as to how to answer those type of questions, right? And also, if you're a new viewer, I would like to welcome you, and if you're a returning one and also a new viewer, please be sure that you leave any topic in the comment so I can be able to help you by generating a video and share a method as to how you can basically approach those type of questions, right? And don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss when that video gets uploaded. So without wasting any further time, we're going to go straight into these videos in today's video. All right, now today we're going to be looking at finance, so let's read 8.1 first and see what is happening there. Now 8.1 reads as follows: Tapinda opened an account with an amount of 5,000 on the 1st of June 2021. Right, she then makes monthly deposits of 600 at the end of every month, right? Now her first deposit, right, is made on the 30th of June 2021, and her last deposit is on the 30th of April 2023, right? Now the account earns an interest of 14.5% per annum compounded monthly. Now let's calculate the amount that is in the account directly after her last deposit is made into the account, right? Very important. After her last deposit is what is made in the account, right? All right, so let's go ahead and look into this one. Now here, first of all, what is happening here, what happens is the Pinda open an account with the certain amount, right? 5,000. But then after that, what happens? She then commits into depositing 600 at the end of every month, right? Now here, this is basically called a change in installment, right? So a change in installment, it's when you put in an amount, open an account with an amount, but then start putting a different amount. So now the bank, this is what they do. Sorry. The minute you do something like that, this is what they do, right? So here, I'm going to mark this as the first part, or I'm going to mark it 0 as to show this is the day you open what? You open an account. So you open an account for 5,000, right? And then from there, this was when? This was the 1st, so 1st June, so I'll say 06/21. And then after that, what happens? A month later, you start committing into putting in a different amount, right? Which is basically different from the one that you had initially. So this means here, 30th of June, you start putting something different. So what the bank does is this: the minute you start putting something different, or you start putting something different, what they will do is what they will do is this: the first one that you did, they're going to look at it as a compound, right? So they will let it compound for a period of however, or of whatever months or years you would like to keep the money in, right? And then now the 600 that you change, if you're committing to that amount to exactly the same amount of years as the one with 5,000, they will just calculate the payments that you, or the deposit that you keep making on that account, right? So this then means now here we see that the bank here, that's when you started putting the 600, but then you push this up until the end of what? Up until the end of December. So which means 30th of December 21. So it means this was the initial deposit, which was the first payment, but then now I'm going to write 1 day to show that this is the first payment. Let me just put the 1 here. First payment, right? But then you pushed this up until the 30th payment. So which means now within July, August, September, to December, you've made other 600 deposits, right? And then from there we push this from 30th of January 2022 to 30th of December to what? 20th of December 2022. So which means there you've made how many other 600s? You've made another 12 600s, right? And then after that, on the year of 2023, you pushed this up until the 30th of what? Of April. Now watch what happens here. Now here you kept making payments, right? You kept making payments from January 30th, February 30th, March 30th, right? So I'll put in 3 here. You added 3 payments of 600 month to 30th, but then now that third payment, when it grew to the 4th one, that's when you decided to do what? To withdraw. That's when you decided to withdraw, right? So now the bank, now what they do is that because of you decided to withdraw, you didn't let this 600 here grow, ne? So it did not grow. Did not grow. Right? So because of it did not grow, so what is going to happen is that the banks, they will calculate that how many months, they will calculate as to say how many months have you kept the 5,000 in the what? In the compound, and then they will look at how many deposits have you made that stayed in what? In the account, right? And then even here now, even though you made your last deposit here 400, sorry, the last deposit which was 600, they will just look at it, because this one they look at it as if it didn't grow, so they'll just add it after the period of the future value that happens, right? So this then means now here, in order for you to understand how much is it that is going to be in the account, right? So all you gotta do is that first we need to look at the and on the compound, right? So the 5,000, the compound of the 5,000 rand, because here the first thing that you do is you changed the amount. So it means because if you change the amount, the 5,000 that was initially deposited, the banks, they let it grow. So now let's see how many months did it grow, right? So we're gonna check here. So this was month 0, so we're not gonna count it. So this is month 1, right? And then after that it was 6 months after that, which is 7, and then another 12 months after that, which is 19, right? And then after that it was another 3 months, which is 22, and then another last month, as you can see here, another last month, which is 23. So which means your N is going to be 23. So that's the period of months, or the period at which your 5,000 grew, right? So now here we'll then say A is P into 1 plus I into N. Now here what we're going to do, we're going to let it grow. So let's see, we're letting it grow. So we say 1 plus 14.25% over 12 for 23 times, right? Or for the 23 months. And we're going to go into our calculator to see how much will that amount be, right? Over 12, forgot to put the percentage there, percent. Let's see, to the power of 23, and then the amount is going to be 6,559.76, 6559.76, right? So that's the 5,000 that it grew, because now you've changed the amount that you deposited a month later, so they let that 5,000 you initially deposited grow, right? So they let it grow. All right. Number 2, we're going to look into the future value of the 600s. Now, how many 600s did you put in there? There is 23 600, as you can see here. I said firstly, the first time you open an account, a month later, that's when you deposited an account, and then for the next 6 months you kept putting in the 600s, which was 7, and then you kept putting in again, which was again 19, and then you kept putting in the 600s, which was 22, and then you also put in the 600 there, which was what, 23. So which means now your n is going to be 23, because that's the total amount of 600s that you've put it in there. Then now the future value for that will then be FV is going to be x into 1 plus I to n minus 1 over I, and then you're going to press this in your calculator. 600 into 1 plus 14.25% over 12 into 23 minus 1 over 14.25% over 12. All right, let's see that in the calculator. 600 into 1 plus 14.25% over 12, 23 minus 1, 14.25% over 12. Let's see if everything is written correctly. All right, let's double check. All right, so everything is correct. So it means it is 15,761.78. 15,761.78. 15,761.78, right? All right, so basically the future value then, it grew separately from the 5,000, but then it grew to this amount, right? Just double check. 78. All right, then now the total amount that you're gonna be having on that day of the 30th of April 2023 is gonna be this amount, adding it with the 6559.76, right, which is 22321. So the total is going to be 2232154. 22321,54. All right, now how did you achieve this one? So this is basically when you then add the compound, which is 6559.76, and then you add it with 15,761.78. So it gives you that answer, and that's basically how we calculate in general our total amount. Again, in summary, if you deposit amount, if you open an account and you put in money there, right, put in any amount, we can say 50 rand for that matter, right? If you put in 50 rand, right, to open an account, the minute you start putting monthly deposits of an amount that is different from the 50 rand, say 100 rand, right, now it means the minute you start doing that, it means that the bank, they will basically look at that 50 rand as a compound interest, or they're going to let it grow alone. Then you're going to look at the 100 rands that you keep making. Let's say you keep putting in the 100 rands for what? For how long? For 2 years, or let's say for 20 months, right? So they're going to say, okay, you kept putting in the 100 rands for 20 months, right? And then the 50 rand stayed for 20 months also. So now what they're going to do is, if the 50 rand is going to grow compoundedly for the 20 months, and also the 100 rand, they're going to calculate the future value for 20 months, and then they're going to look at them separately and then add them together. That's how you're going to get your total amount. That's basically how you work with the change in the installment, right, or change in the amount that you put in. All right, let's go ahead and look into the second question, which is the 8.2 type of question.